Hello everyone and welcome to this week's watch list preview. Have a few pretty good looking charts here. Couple of them are to the bullish side or bear side. Most are the bullish side. We'll to see what the overall markets do. Keep an eye on the SPY and the Qs to see what direction they're headed. If they're headed down, be careful playing anything long on the contrary. If they're headed up, be careful playing anything short. So here's the watch list: Oracle, Dash, Tdoc, Lowe's, Crowd, Snow, Etsy, and DOCU. So let's take a look here and see what we have. Start with Oracle. If you take a look at Oracle on the yearly, it's been a fantastic year. Quarterly's been really good. Month's been pretty good. It pulled back, like just about every stock did. Pulled back early on and bounced back up, working on a hammer candle. The end of the month is Thursday. Yeah, Thursday's the last day of the month. So Friday we'll start a new month. I'll try to do video Thursday night, Thursday evening for October's scans, but I also do one for the quarterly close. I did it, if you remember, almost 3 months ago. I did a quarterly chart review, so we'll look and see how that worked out. But Oracle starting to form a hammer, trying to form a hammer here on the month. On the week, we came down. We got pretty close here to the 21 EMA, almost touched it. You see my broadening formation here, drawn off the weekly chart. Last week was a pretty ugly week, and then we kind of came down, almost touched the bottom of the broadening formation at the beginning of the week, and shot right back up. So we're looking for a break over $90.06, 90.06 break. Target 1 is going to be the high of this candle at 90.51. And again, like I said in my other videos, that doesn't necessarily mean that's only 45-cent magnitude. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to be taking profits here. It means that once I poke above it, I'm going to put my stop somewhere in this range. I'm going to move my stop up somewhere in this, between the top of this candle and the top of this candle. I'll have my stop somewhere in there. So that this doesn't necessarily mean, when I say target 1, doesn't necessarily mean where I'm going to start selling off. It means I'm going to move my target or move my stop somewhere in between here. Now, if that's a $5 range to target 1, yeah, I'll probably be looking at taking profits at target 1 then, because you're going to be looking, possibly looking at exhaustion risk, which we'll see a couple of those charts here, which I'll point out when we get to. But again, target 1 only being 45 cents away doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to take profits there and sell. Target 2 is $90.83. Again, that's only 30-cent move up over target 1, so not a huge move. Now we start getting a little bit of more move here to, I believe this is all-time highs at 91.78. That would be a target I'd be looking to hit. It's going to come really close to lining up with the top of the broadening formation also. So I'd be looking at this as my main target. So that's Oracle. Dash. Let's take a look at Dash. On the year, pretty nice candle. It's a 2 up. Actually, it's a 3. We have a 3 candle. It's hard to see because it's there's not much history on it, so the chart looks kind of wonky. On the quarter, we had a 3 here, followed by a 2 down, followed by a 2 up. So the quarter's looking pretty good. On the month is looking good. We've been, since this candle here, 2 up, 2 up, 2 up, 2 up. So the monthly's looking really good. On the week, inside week, targets aren't very big here. The magnitude's not very big. So if we look at the trigger is going to be a break above 226.57. Target 1 is the all-time high of, no, I believe that's all-time high, of 227.40. Only looking at 80 some cent magnitude. But as I've mentioned in my other videos, when you have such a short magnitude, you may want to take profits here if you're happy with where you're at. But you can also look at moving down to a smaller time frame. If you go to the daily, which daily is where I usually get my targets from, but you can see here the 9 EMA is a little bit closer. If you drop down to, let's say, the 4 hour, you have the 9 EMA here, 2 hour, 9 EMAs here, the 60. Now, the lower the time frame, the quicker this line is going to move. So at this point, you may want to set your stop for a close below the 9 EMA. Now you got to remember your trigger is not till way up here. So at this point, depending on how long it takes, if it triggers tomorrow, your 9 EMA is going to be way down here. If it triggers Wednesday, your 9 EMA may be up here by then. So you have to see how it plays out. If your 9 EMAs kind of riding the price up and you're pretty close to it, once you break above target 1, you can either set a stop for a break below the 9 EMA. You can set a stop for when it reaches top of the broadening formation. The problem is here it's not a whole lot higher than the actual target. If it takes a couple of days to get there, we may be up at 230 by then, which would be a decent profit. So there's different ways to kind of come to a conclusion on a target when it's such a small magnitude. So let's take a look at Tdoc. Tdoc, I'm looking for it to come to the downside. Working on a shooter for the year. Inside on a quarter, but it's just about to break 2 down on the quarter. Now the quarter's up in a few days, so will we get it? I don't know. If not, we'll be set up for an inside quarter on this one. On the month, we had an inside month last month. This month we broke down below that, tested these lows here. So if we break below these lows, we could be looking at possibly a $100 test. So let's take a look at the week. Now we're not going to get $100 this week before the end of September, but we may get it next month. We'll see. On the week, we have an inside week to the downside. This chart has been nothing. There's been nothing bullish about this chart. You look at all the way from the month, we've been dropping like a rock from 308 all the way down to 140, 135. So I don't see this reversing anytime soon. Last week we had a kind of a hammer candle here. Then we went inside this week with a red candle. So this didn't, we had a lot of volume with not much movement, and follow that up last week with quite a bit of volume, but to the downside. So the selling, I don't think the selling's over in this one. So we're looking for a break below 133.66. Target 1, let's go to the daily chart. Target 1 is going to be the low of this candle here. Your trigger's right here, which is a break below this candle. Target 1 is your pivot low here of 130.93. So you got a nice almost $3 magnitude there. Target 2 is going to be this pivot low of 129.74. I didn't do a target 3 on this one, but if you wanted to keep looking back further than that, you're going to have to go pretty far back. You're looking at going back up to the weekly chart and looking for something in here. Target 2 was here. Target 3 would probably be this pivot low way down here at 101.95. So I'm not looking for that big of a move this week, so I stopped at target 2. Lows. Take a look at lows on the year. Phenomenal on the year. We're 2 down on the quarter, but it's bouncing back up. I don't think we're going to go 3 on the quarter outside candle. I don't see that happening because there's only a few days left. I'm not saying it won't happen. We only have $8 to move. We have 4 days to get there. It could go outside on the month, but I'd rather it stay where it's at and then go 2-2 reversal on the month. Maybe next week break above these highs here and go 2-2 on the month. I'd rather see it that way. Speaking of month, here we go. Outside candle followed by a 2 up. So all bullish activity. We're inside on the week, barely inside. Just looking for a break above 211.65. Target 1, 211.98. Again, like I said, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm looking to take profits. It means that that's a range for me to put my stop in. Target 2, you have to watch the top of this broadening formation. We may hit, let's call it 214, and start losing momentum and come back down. We've been kind of, this was the start of the broadening formation, so I don't want to count this one, but we kind of tested it here. And then this was the other part of the broadening formation. So we may come up here around 214, maybe probably just under, maybe 213.50-ish, and may start to see some momentum loss. And you have to be mindful of that. But ultimately, my target is 215.22. So that's what I'll be looking at. I won't be afraid to take profits here if I see us losing momentum here. Maybe on the 60-minute chart, we start to see a reversal here. I'm probably going to be getting out. So that's what I'm looking at for lows. Crowdsource. Let's take a look on the year. Been a pretty good year. On the quarter, kind of forming a spinning top here on the quarter. Remember, there's only 4 days left in this quarter, so if we start to pull back, probably see this body just a little bit tighter. It's going to be a spinning top, which is indecision, kind of a doji. Not really sure what we're going to do. On the month, we're kind of same thing. If we go up just a little bit higher, make this body a little bit smaller, we have another spinning top on the month also. So a lot of indecision for the month. But on the week, we started bouncing off of these lows. Came down the previous week, almost touched the previous week's low, got real close to the 21 EMA and bounced right back up. So I'm looking for a break above 264.29. Target 1 is going to be the high of the previous week at 266.72. That's a nice $2.50 move. Target 2, if we come down here to the daily, target 2 is this high here of 269.70. Target 3 is 270.58. Target 4 is this pivot high at 279.80. If you wanted to go further, you could say target 5 here, target 6 here, target 7 here. In 4 days, I don't know that we'll get that high. Actually, for the weekly, we'd have a full 5 days on the weekly chart. But I don't know if we're going to get a what are we looking at, $30 move up here to get to the $20 move to get up to here. I don't know that we'll get that in 1 week. But if you wanted to, if we do get to here and you want to keep riding it out, that's how I would find my targets. Come down to the daily. Boom, boom, boom. There's your targets. So let's take a look at snow. Snow, if we take a look at the year, 2 down on the year, but it's trying to form a hammer here. Actually, it would be a, we don't have anything previous to this, so we don't know if this is a shooter or not, but in a technical sense, it probably wouldn't be a shooter because it has to be near the top of a trend. We don't have a trend before this, but you're kind of looking at a hammer counter shooter here, which is very bullish. On the quarter, you see we had a hammer here and followed by a 2 up that came up in, let's see, the high here was 327.41, high here is 328.06, so we did break above the previous high. So magnitude was reached here on this one. That's on the quarter. We look at the month, we've been 2 up ever since here. 2 up, 2 up, 2 up, 2 up. So 4 months in a row, 2 up. Very bullish. We look at the week. We had an outside candle the previous week, followed by an inside candle last week. What this usually signifies is, you have a lot of activity here. Stocks need a rest. It pushed down, came way down here before the bulls came in, ran it right back up. So right now everybody just kind of said, all right, let's let this thing settle, see what's going to happen. So it kind of consolidated last week, and let's see if we get some more activity, more interest coming back into it. Buyers come in, look for a break above 322.84. Target one is going to be all-time high at 328.06. And this is what I was saying about your magnitude. If you only have a 40-cent range to target one, look for that to be more of a place to put your stop. In here, we have a $6, almost $6 magnitude here. This would be my target price. This would be where I'd be looking to exit. At a minimum, I'd be selling half of my contracts or half of my shares right here, and then we'll ride it, maybe ride it out and see where we go from there. The top of the broadening formation is going to be around 335 for this week. If we break above 328, will we go up and test this 335? I don't know. So because of this big range here, this would be a nice, even if you play the monthlies with October expiration, you're probably still looking at 30-40% profits when you hit this target here. I'm happy with that. So I'd be selling at least half, move my stop to just above my entry, probably right in between here. Move my stop to probably right in between here. It's going to depend on what this next candle does. If the next candle opens right here, then I'd have my stop right below the open. If my next candle opens here, I'm not putting my stop way down here. It's going to be up in here somewhere. It's going to be above break even for sure. But I'd be looking to sell half here, and then we'll see what it does from there. I'd keep an eye on the smaller time frames, maybe the 2 hour, maybe the 60-minute, whatever you're comfortable with. Look for a reversal on the shorter time frame for an exit. So that's what I'm looking at for snow. Etsy. Etsy, we're looking at really good on the year. Quarter, not really a hammer candle on the quarter. It's more of a, it's actually not even a Momo hammer, but it is a bullish candle. On the month, we're looking at nice 2 up. We went 2 up, starting here, 2 up, 2 up. We went outside here, 2 up again. So it's all been pretty much bullish activity except for when we broke below this low here. So the month's been looking good. The week, we're inside week. Look at this. We had inside candle here, and this is why I like the inside candles. Look at the power of the inside candle breaks. Inside candle, 2 up, 2 up, 2 up, 2 up. It's red, but it's still 2 up. Then we had an outside candle, which we've seen a lot on last week. Not this past week, but the previous week. A lot of charts have an outside candle the previous week because we had that big sell-off. So inside candle, we're looking for a break above 225.47. Target one is the previous high of 228.89. So nice $3.40 some cent range here. If we go way back, target two is going to be 231.40 or 231.34. Target three is way up here. If you look at the weekly chart, way up here. That's too much of a range. I don't see us moving that much in 1 week. If we go down to the daily, we're kind of looking at the same thing here. Target 2 is here. Target 3 would be here at 238.57, and then target 4 would be up here. So if we break this and you want to keep riding it to see where it goes, I'd be looking at a target of 238.29 for the next target, and then right here would be, I don't know if it's all-time highs or a previous pivot high, but that'd be what I'd be looking for there for Etsy. DOCU, let's take a look at that one. DOCU is kind of interesting. If you look at the, pretty bullish on the year, although it has pulled back. On the quarter, looking at a shooter on the quarter, this will most likely make my chart for next quarter. If we break below this during the quarter, I'd be looking for it to come down at least 178.70ish, 179, 180. Let's call it 180. If we break below this next quarter, and I'm getting ahead of myself because we're not done with this quarter yet, but if we break below this next quarter, I'd be looking for somewhere down around 180 sometime next quarter. On the month, we went 2 up. We were actually 2 up, 2 up, 2 up with a spinning top, followed by a 2 down, with a big red bar for the month so far. I don't see that changing before the month close. Even if we pop back up, we're still gonna have a pretty decent sized red bar. Let's look at the week. The week's been, it's been for the year, it hasn't been bad. For the past 2 months, has it been 2 months? Yeah, past 2 months it hasn't been pretty. So DOCU just hasn't been very good recently. Now we have a broadening formation coming from this low to this low. We did come down, get close to it. If you look at the daily, you can say that we kind of bounced off it. There's where it formed the previous low, or formed the bottom of the broadening formation. We're kind of riding that broadening formation down. You can see we made it, we tried to bounce off of it here. We made a lower low here, inside, lower low here, pop back up with kind of almost a shooter, followed by another lower low. So it is a hammer candle on the daily. We are near the bottom of the broadening formation, but given the past 2 months track record on this, I'm not ready to go bullish on it. It may bounce from here, but given the past 2 months, I'm looking for it to continue a downward trend. You see, we had a dragonfly doji here, followed by a spinning top doji here. So a lot of indecision. This is more bullish than it is bearish. This is kind of neutral. So I'm actually looking for it to drop down. So if we get a break below 267.15, I'm looking for target 1 to be the low of this previous week at 263.89. Target 2, if you come down to the daily, target 2 is going to be the low of this candle way back here, June. So we're looking at target 2 of 261.19. Target 3 is this low here of 249. You can continue going down. You have a target here, target here. This is actually this is actually a pivot low right here. But are we going to see, what's this, $27 move or $17 move in 1 week? Maybe, probably not. So I'm only looking at targets down to here, and that's it. So that's what I'm looking for this week. That's my charts, my watch list. Hope everyone has a good week with it, and thanks for watching, and let me know how you guys do. Put it down in the comments. If you have any questions, put those in the comments. If you made money, I don't care how much you made. If you made money, put a percentage. Hey, I made 5% on Dash. I made 20% on Tdoc, whatever. Just like to see that, just to see if people are making money off of these. I hope they are. All right, thanks for watching. See you guys later. Bye.